gangster, you know, we do that better than anybody.
I bet you got it twisted, you don't know who to trust. So many player hating niggas trying to sound like us. Say they ready for the front, but I don't think they know it. Straight to the depths of hell is where them cowards going. Well, all you still down, nigga, holler when you see me. And let these devils dissolve for the day they finally free me. I got a caravan of niggas every time we ride. Hitting motherfuckers up when we pass by. Until I die, live the life of a boss player. Cause even when I'm high, fuck with me and get crossed later.
All right. Welcome back everyone dito sa latest episode ng Deep Dive. Let's go right into it kasi na-miss talaga namin itong guest namin, si Senator Antonio Trillanes. Minsan, feeling ko nagka-compete kami sinong pinakamagaling mag-rage bait sa mga DDS. So, before we talk about Senate, ito yung mga sinasabi ni Ronald ng mga destabilization plot. And of course, what should the pink progressives do heading to 2028 and in the coming months? Senator Trillanes, thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for your rage baiting post doon sa sinabi mo hindi kulong pa rin, naghahanap buhay lang yung abogado. So totoo ba yung sinasabi ni Pulong na ano ka, entrapment yung ginagawa mo kay Digong doon sa ICC?
Okay, well, una-una, salamat Richard at naimbitahan mo ako ulit. Akala ko nakalimutan mo na eh. Di ba?
Alam mo, tampo ka sa akin eh.
Uh, well, anyway, to answer that question, I went to the Netherlands in general for a series of engagements. Yung ICC is just one of them. Pero I went there upon the invitation of the ICC as somebody who has been helping build the case of Duterte since day one. So yun naman ang engagement natin, yun ang history natin. So from 2017 up to now, so may ganun relationship. We help them with the witnesses and the documents, ganyan. Pero hindi ako part ng welfare check para kay Duterte, if there is such a thing. Hindi ko rin binisita in person si Duterte. Pero diniscuss extensively nung ICC doon sa akin na how Mr. Duterte is being treated. Para nga siguradong ano siya, hindi siya kumbaga first class treatment ang ginagawa sa kanya at inaalagaan yung kanyang kalusugan. Yun, very basic yung kanilang visitation policy na hindi pwedeng papasukin yung anybody, kahit kamag-anak or total stranger, pagka hindi niya pinapayagan ito. So yun, di ba? It's as simple as that. Tapos, hindi ito selda siya. Kailangan malaman ng mga kababayan natin na very comfortable yung kanyang ano doon, living quarters. Meron siyang heater doon. Tapos, he can communicate and engage with the other detainees. Anim sila doon total. Anim sila doon. Walang danger whatsoever. May recreational facilities siya. Meron siyang may library at may exercise facilities. So, tapos may medical team for anything na mangyari sa kanya. Kaya ito, based on the information I got when I was there, hindi totoo na hinimatay si Duterte. Kahit na anong insidente yun. That didn't happen at all. So, gawa-gawa lang yan ni Sarah, probably to try to gain sympathy doon sa kanilang base, to rile up their base, para din sa maging basis nung Senate resolution at para doon sa kanilang interim release na hinihingi sa ICC pre-trial chamber. But again, yan din yung isang diniscuss. Very unlikely na mag-grant siya ng interim release.
Because ang tawag niya sa kanila, kidnapper. Like, hindi ko alam kung, meron ba sa kasaysayan at Senator, kung saan yung kidnapper mo, biglang sabi niya, okay, ipalaya kita ng konti, tapos sasabihin mo sa kidnapper, hindi ako tatakas. Maniwala ka sa akin, hindi ako tatakas. And at the same time, meron bang inhumane condition, pero may time pala siya, may love life daw siya eh. Sabi ni Sarah, di ba, may love life siya. I mean, you have all of these things coming from Kitty, from the other kids saying he's fine. So, what I'm wondering is that, how is this gonna help their case in the ICC? If anything, hindi kaya magagalit ng ICC sa kanila. Parang fake news yung ginagawa nila eh. Kung ano-anong sinasabi nila, undermining, casting aspersions on the integrity of the ICC institution.
Yun na nga, ang problema dito sa mga anak ni Digong, hindi naman niya makontrol yan eh. Even when these people were growing up at presidente si ano, hindi makontrol ni Digong yan. Si Sara, di ba, against the will of Digong, pinalitan yung speaker niya. Di ba? Si Alvarez with the preferred speaker ni Sara na si GMA. Kumaga, ngayon, ganun din. Lalo na nakakulong, they're coming up with all sorts of stories na precisely, as what you said, nakakasira dun sa kaso nila. Yung in the case ng request ng interim release, ginagamit yung statements nila. And before that, just a few days before, they came up with this cognitive decline or mga hinimatay. Every time ini-interview sila, Sara sila Pulong, o sasabihin lang, high spirit si Digong, maganda yung health niya. They never said or they never cited any incident about yung hinimatay o kung ano man. And even the wife, just a few days ago, sinabi, Duterte is fine, fully aware siya sa mga nangyayari, wala siyang cognitive decline, pinapahinto yung mga anak sa paggawa-gawa ng kung ano-anong istorya. So, wala na. Talagang hindi ito. Totoo.
Well, just to be clear, no, because this was a discussion we also had with other people following the case closely. But of course, no one as close as you, Senator Trillanes. I mean, isang psychologist lang ang tumingin sa kanya kasi alam ko na MRI siya and everything. Pero hindi ba dapat isang panel? Kasi you never know with one psychologist and it's not like, or psychiatrist for that matter. Hindi siya exact science. So I think at the very least you need a panel, no? Para siguraduhin na credible yung assessment about his psychological state.
Yes, but ito kasi yan, Richard eh. Um, ano na lang ito, nirush nila yung kanilang motion to postpone yung confirmation of charges hearing using that cognitive decline as an alibi kasi based dun sa mga informants namin doon sa kampo nila Duterte, siguradong sigurado silang maa-oust nila si President Marcos noong September 21. And kung natuloy o na si Sara yung presidente, they will now make sure na walang testigo makakapag-testify, yung mga documents, kung ano mang gagawin nila to sabotage the case. So kung hindi siya na-confirm yung charges niya, masustol yung hearing, that's going to be favorable to them, at least in their minds. Kaya nila, they came up with that. So ito ngayon, psychologist yung kinuha nila. Kaya nga, ano nung when I was still there, meron siyang he was undergoing medical evaluation. And sa palagay ko, matatapos na yon or tapos na. And then after that, they will now decide. So most likely, November marireset yung kanyang confirmation of charges hearing.
You mean sa November malalaman or sa November yung magiging next hearing? Sorry.
Next hearing, yung confirmation of charges. Kasi ganito, no?
Okay. Interesting.
Oo. Ang problema kasi dito nila, Sara, akala nila ang yung sasabihin nila sa labas, yun ang gagawing basis. Hindi, 'di ba? Kasi meron yan silang mga CCTV, may mga orderlies, may mga custodians, nakikita nila yon. Then siya mismo mahirap magdrama ng parang siraulo o ulianin. Sa daldal niya ni Digong every time na bibisita. And by the way, speaking of that, yung visitation privileges niya, walang limit sa family. Walang limit. Tapos pati yung conjugal visits. Oo, walang limit din.
I mean, like
So,
bottomless iced tea, like they can come anytime, ganun.
no. May isang conjugal room. Kaso, pinagshare niyan with the other detainees. Kaso, the others, hindi naman perming nandiyadyaan yung bisita. So, pag nababakante, every time bakante yun, pwedeng gamitin. Pwede nilang i-request. Ganun ka kaluwag para sa kanya. And may 24/7 access sa phone. Pwede niyang tawagan
Oh,
si
by the
Sarah
phone.
anytime.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
by the phone. Oh, hindi to ano minomonitor. So, imo-monitor lang naman 'yan the moment merong report sa kanila that Duterte is using it for
Operation.
let's say
Yeah.
operations
Special ops.
dito
Yeah.
ng extra constitutional kung ano man. Maluwag sa kanya. Ang point dito is hindi pwedeng just a day before the motion doon lang siya nagkaroon ng cognitive decline. Titignan niyan tapos precisely he will be evaluated by a panel of doctors para makita yung fitness niya sa trial to undergo trial. At ito kasi, alam mo bang si Duterte parang yung pagiging detainee niya dun sa ICC, it's a source of pride sa ICC. Parang ito siya yung symbol of what
Siya
ICC is
yung
all
big
about.
fish. Siya yung big fish.
Yes, siya lang ang presidenteng nahuli na nakadetain. And they're not about to lose him na tipong sa mga gimmick-gimmick lang na ano. So ang interim release, in-explain din sa akin yan, binibigay lang dun sa mga may minor cases. Obstruction of justice lang yung mga ano. Tapos, even then, kailangan
Yeah. So, Senator, sorry, we lost you sandali lang. Ang ganda kasi ng quality ng video mo HD 4K. So, baka that affected. Senator, you were saying again na in terms of yung pinapalaya lang, yung mga low level. Kaso, hindi ba recently we had this top general na Serbian na pinauwi kasi medyo matanda na and all sa Serbia. So, baka umaasa sila na dahil pinagbigyan ng ICC yung isang top general sa Serbia, etc., baka pwede rin siya. Although, of course, that's a case that goes back to 2005 at nag-serve na sa presinto itong tao na to. But in the case of Duterte, he's not yet even tried. So I'm just trying
okay.
to wonder what's their calculus there.
So, ang inexplain, hindi yon regardless of the rank. Pagka hindi ka principal sa isang heinous crime, such as crimes against humanity, ano yon? Hindi ka bibigyan. Kasi yun lang naman A handful lang naman yung nabigyan nila ng interim release. So, kaya nandoon siya as a privilege. Kumbaga, nakalagay siya sa provisions ng ICC, but case-to-case basis yun. In the case ni Duterte, ikaw yung principal sa crimes against humanity, malabo ka na. Tapos, in terms of age, may mga ano doon, kumbaga much older than him, hindi binigyan, di ba? Tapos, kumbaga ang daming, ano,
So
kumbaga,
malabo
hindi
yung situation niya. Yeah.
yes, and wala pang doon based doon sa information I got when I was still there, wala pang bansa na nag-signify ng willingness to host him sa interim release. Kasi yung Pilipinas, being a non-member, hindi tayo eligible, hindi tayo qualified. Kaya kahit maglulupasay itong mga Duterte senators, na bring him home, hindi yan pakikinggan, no? Kaya wag nyo nang paasahin yung mga Duterte supporters, talagang hindi na siya babalik dito sa Pilipinas. Pero gusto ko lang palagi itong sinasabi, Richard. Si Duterte is detained sa ICC because nung siya ay mayor at nung presidente, inabuse niya yung kanyang power at nag-utos ng pagpatay ng libo-libong mga Pilipino. Ngayon, lahat tayo, whether Duterte supporter ka o hindi, lahat tayo alam na nangyari yan. Totoong nangyari yan. We were alive that time. Conscious na tayo doon. At bawal yun. You cannot do that. You cannot abuse your power. At papatayin mo yung ano without any due process. So, yun ang krimen niya. Dito sa atin nga, pag isa lang na mag-mastermind ka na magpautos ka na magpamatay ng isang tao, kulong ka na habang buhay eh. Ito pa, on national TV, he was saying that, tapos in-execute nila Bato, nila Bongo, thousands died in the process. So, yan. Ngayon ng ICC, hindi rin yan basta-basta mag-file ka ng communication doon, then mag-issue sila ng warrant. No. Talagang very thorough yung kanilang investigation. Yung threshold nila ng evidence, napakataas, certainty of conviction. That's why it took them 8 years bago nag-issue ng warrant. Sa madaling salita, merong ebidensya silang nakuha kaya nag-issue ng warrant at kaya nakakulong si Duterte. Wag niyong iisipin na inosente siya yung kaaawaan kasi hindi po santo si Duterte, siya ay kriminal, no? At yun ang dahilan kung ba't siya nakakulong. Hindi po natin prinaject yan ng politika lamang.
Which obviously brings us to the next question, Senator. Thank you for that contextualization. Eto na, medyo matagal na natin sinabi, pero last time naman we turned right. So ang narinig ko is, you're expecting early next year, yung kila, not only Bato, but you're expecting even Bongo potentially facing a warrant of arrest?
Okay. Si Bato, gumugulong na yung sa kanya. Latest na is yung early next year. Latest na yung early next year. It may happen towards the end of the year. Yung kay Bato. Okay? So, from first quarter of next year. Yung kay Albayalde, hindi pa sure kung magpa-prosper.
Senator, pwede ulitin yung part, medyo naghang. Siguro hindi natuwa yung mga DDS. So, anong quarterly projections natin kay Bato, Bongo, and Albayalde? And whether the Garma factor will be important also here.
Okay. So, si Bato, ano na to, is just a waiting game sa kanya. Ang tansya ko rito, baka towards the end of the year or early next year, mga February, mga ganon. So, kumaga, ano na yan, waiting game na yan. Yung kay Bongo, um, first quarter next year. It won't come any sooner than that. Yung kay Albayalde, hindi pa sure kung magpo-progression o hindi.
And Aguirre? What about Aguirre?
Wala si Aguirre. Um, hindi ko mo kasi nakasulat siya doon sa mga mga documents ng ICC. It doesn't mean na ano siya na isasama siya kasi maraming na list down doon eh. 30 plus personalities 'yon. Senior officials of government tapos yung mga senior officials ng PNP. Personally, gusto natin masama yan, pati si Sara. Pero nga, ang ICC, mataas yung kanilang threshold sa evidence bago nila
Yeah.
simulan yung proseso ng pag-issue ng warrant. So, hindi kasama si Aguirre, hindi kasama si Sara Duterte, unfortunately.
Okay. So clearly that takes us to the situation in the Senate right now. As we speak, Senator Trillanes, this is the institution you're very familiar with. Marami kang napagdaalan nung time na senador ka. And of course, one of the most memorable moment is yung basically the institution stood by you when Senator Soto was last Senate President. What is your read of his Senate presidency so far? And what is your read of these rumors of a counter coup? Kasi we want to talk about the bigger coup rumors na si Ronald Llamas has been feeding on and feeding off. But before we go to the bigger destabilization discussions, kamusta yung kalagayan ng Senado? What do you see is the way forward? Kasi many believe that even though Senator Lacson was right to mention some of the corruption issues, etc., medyo naging shotgun masyado yung approach niya, and that may have backfired. And then you have that case with Senator Risa whereby dahil hindi siguro hindi inexplain din kasi ni Lacson at may amendment, iba yan dun sa insertions, iba yan dun sa mga bycam na kalokohan na nangyari. But because parang any insertion is being demonized or even amendment is being demonized, when Senator Trillanes basically said, lahat may insertions dati, now what you see is parang may black ops na kay Riza Hontiveros also, no? Senator Riza. Oh, ito rin, may insertion din yan. What is your read of that situation and also on this Riza Hontiveros issue?
Richard, before I get to that, yung
Please.
Garma issue, hindi ko lang na
Oo nga pala, yeah,
hindi ko lang
Garma.
na-address.
Yes, please, please.
Yung kay Garma, she's in a safer place now and she will testify against Duterte and Bongo. At ito, very critical yung kanyang magiging testimonya kasi insider talaga siya. She is basically a Las Cañas at the national level. Si Las Cañas, what is an insider dun sa Davao death squad, pero she was there during the formation of the national death squad. So very critical yung testimony niya. Ngayon, doon sa Senate, first kay Senate President Soto, makikita nyo because of his experience, ano siya, level-headed siya. Ang concern niya is about the stability of the institutions, 'di ba? Kaya yun yung trust. Ngayon pa lang nagno-normalize kahit papaano, 'di ba? Yung even the proceedings dati parang ano na it's free flowing na wala nang order, pero ito nagkakaroon ng order. And I think you are accurate when you said that naging shotgun yung investigation. Um, ang okay naman yon kasi talagang, sige, para lang makita kung gaano kalalim, gaano kalawak. But, nandirito na tayo sa ano, kasi parang slippery slope yun eh. Kasi pwedeng masyadong magkaroon ng lynch mob mentality yung public na tipong will start burning down the whole
Yeah, it's like burn down the
government.
whole house. Yeah, burn down the whole house. Yeah.
So, ang nangyari, since shotgun yung approach nung una, it's not necessarily wrong. Kasi talagang gusto natin malaman ano ba to? Gaano ba kalalim, gaano kalawak? So, okay lang yon. Pero at some point, nawe-weaponize nung mga kalaban ng administrasyon. So, they're trying to control the narrative na ang mangyari nito, nagiging destabilization ang effect. And that's necessarily, and that's, exactly what they want. Gusto nilang mag-sow ng chaos para gumuho yung buong administrasyon, yung buong ano natin, democracy. So, for some, parang, sige, parang kung sinong may kasalanan, kung lahat, di sige, parang reset. In theory, okay yan. Di ba? At one point in, or 2 points in my life, dinesire natin namin yung reset na yan. Pero talagang ano siya, very, very complicated yan. Kasi hindi mo pa predict yung what happens next. Yung post-operation scenario, hindi mo mapipredict.
Pandora's box yan, yeah.
Baka mangyari nito, biglang pag sa sobrang gulo, yung Mindanao magsisid, yung Cebu magsisid, yung Ilocos, kumbaga, ano to, mahirap i-control. So, kaya dahan-dahan tayo. Maganda, sige muna, parang call for sobriety muna. Let's step back a bit. Iayusin muna natin. Besides, meron ng ICI. Yung ICI, mas thorough yung kanilang investigation kasi may SGV member pa nga dyan. So talagang nitty-gritty to. And that can be boring kung isi-stream nila or may televised siya. Pag televised kasi siya, ang mangyayari nito, um, makakaapekto sa performance nila, sa magiging madadala sila kung saan gusto ng public. Whereas, kunyari, parang yung deliberation sa Supreme Court, bakit hindi ba natin tinetelevise yun? Para freely they can say what they want to say, kung ano bang, without external pressure or external stimuli. Parang hindi sila performative. Kumbaga, talagang kung anong dapat. Ganon din dito. Kailangan lang natin maging patient. Pwede naman kasi magkaroon ng weekly um, press briefings para malalabas nila, ma-inform yung publiko. Pero this time, mas um, mas systematic yung approach. Yun naman yon. So pwede na mag-step back yung Senate. Yung Senate naman, ando dun yun. Especially under nung kay Senator Lacson na, nabigyan ng information yung publiko when hindi pa na-form yung ICI. Yung may vacuum pa, so napunuan naman yon. Pero since nandito na yung ICI, uh, running na siya after 2 weeks, so pwede na mag-step back. Tama lang. And yun nga, you'll have to credit that dun sa ano ni Senator experience ni Senator Soto, Senate President Soto, and ni Senator Lacson kasi sila yung mga seniors diyan kahit papaano ma-steer nila into the right direction. Pero si Senator Soto nararamdaman niya yung pulso din ng mga ng mga kasama niya, 'di ba? So, 'yon. Now, let's go to Senator Risa. Alam niyo ang bottom line dito, nangurakot ba si Senator Risa o hindi? Na-mention ba siya ng mga witnesses na eto sige nito, nabigyan ko ng pera, ganun? Wala. Doon na lang tayo tumingin kasi yung mga nuances ng amendments, insertion, magulo yan. Kasi alam nyo, sa budget deliberation at hindi lang yon, even sa legislative process, merong period of amendments. Meron talagang, pag nakita mong, teka, sobra yata dyan o kulang dyan, kunyari, remember nung ginawa nilang 1 peso yung pondo ng CHR,
Si Marcoleta.
remember that time? Oh, ni-restore. Yes, oh. Yung karoon ng amendment, ni-restore. Oh, may amendment ako. Ni-restore ko yung pondo ng CHR. Pero dito sa lynch mob, cancel culture mindset that we have right now, parang, hindi, may amendment ka. Regardless whether ni-restore mo yung CHR budget o hindi, parang kailangan ka na i-crucify. Hindi. Ang kailangan nating bitayin, ika nga, yung nangungurakot, 'di ba? Hindi yung nagtutuwid nung budget through amendments. At iba ang amendment sa insertion. Yung amendment is part of the legislative process after the period of interpellation. Period of amendment yan. Yan ay mga institutional amendments. Kunyari ako, advocate ako yung sa AFP welfare, o naglagay ako ng mga barak sa lahat ng divisions ng army, lahat ng major bases including the Navy, the Air Force. Nalagay ko yun. Yun yung advocacy ko kasi nakita ko kailangan. Tapos may sobra doon sa iba. Yun yun. Pero kumuha ba ako ng pera doon sa mga yun? Hindi.
Or my ghost
At ang
project pa. Or my ghost project.
Yes. Oh, ang proof diyan kasi for 6 years ni Duterte, sa galit niya sa akin, inusisa nila lahat 'yan. Pero wala naman sila nakita. Alam nila that I don't touch those kumaga advocacy projects. Ganon din kay Senator Risa. Yan, siya yung champion nung sa PhilHealth. 'Di ba? Kaya nga nung tinanggal yung sa PhilHealth budget, she voted no. She voted no na nga Tapos, bottom line, meron ba na district engineer dyan o kung sino, contractor nagsabi na binigyan ko si Senator Risa ng pera? Wala. So, kumaga, ano na tayo, let's step back a bit. Anuhin natin yung cancel culture mindset na yan na parang, ito, lahat kayo. No, hindi lahat.
Medyo
Merong
witch hunt na
matino.
nga siya eh. Medyo witch hunt na nga siya. But Senator, what do you think of yun the Anthony
Precisely.
Taberna? Anthony Taberna parang singling out Risa. I mean, and then I am not sure he really explained yung difference ng amendment sa insertion, sa BICAM, yung mga ganun. Anong basa mo sa mga ganyan na journalism?
Eh maliwanag naman na special project yon, di ba? May 24 senators doon. Bakit siningle out si Risa? Tapos bakit yung iba ini-mention wala? Ano yan? That's ang tawag dyan special operations, no? So ngayon, itong kay Senator Risa, pag tinignan mo, anong basis ni Anthony Taberna? Meron bang official document na nagsabi na merong insertion? Kaya alam mo, ako I'm encouraging itong sina Senator Risa na kasuhan itong mga ito para magtanda. Kasi hindi pwedeng you will just say those things. Ang basis mo, o ano man, kung sino man nagbigay sa'yo ng papel o sino nagbulong sa'yo, then expect to get away with it. Maganda kasi nito, pagka kinasuhan siya, di hard put ngayon itong sina Anthony Taberna to produce kung meron kang official document diyan. Otherwise, kailangan magtanda.
Si Jinggoy nga, di ba, kakakaso niya ngayon. Mga, ano eh, proactive yung mga kabilang kaibigan natin dyan. But
Um,
Sarah, before we go to the last part of this discussion about moving forward, anong dapat gagawin ng progressives among others, just to be clear, I'm not throwing Ronald Llamas under the bus. I think definitely there's a basis to what he's saying. Pero from your understanding, as someone who, well, I mean, as you mentioned, twice you tried to reset the boot, but someone from a military background and information and intel, how serious
mhm.
was that threat? Well, Manny Mogato also wrote something about that. So, like, how serious was the destabilization plot?
Sabihin kasi pagka ganyan, you have to err on the side of caution You have to take it seriously. So it was serious. But ano ba? Did it reach that level na talagang ano na the tanks were about to roll? Wala pa naman, di ba? At yung EDSA 2 scenario, hindi pa naman kasi walang trigger, ano? Walang second envelope incident. But the political enemies of the administration, the Dutertes in particular, are constantly creating or looking for that trigger para nga to justify any military intervention. So, in that sense, kailangan seryosohin to at bantayan kasi yung kalaban constantly kumbaga, they will take every opportunity na makikita nila to grab power. So, ganun lang yon. Pero the AFP, masasabi natin, the leadership, ikakategorize natin, the AFP leadership, ano sila, no? They're very much loyal to the Constitution, the chain of command. They're trying to mute out the kumaga the static or the political um, issues. Pero yung mid-ranking hanggang junior officers, ano sila, focus sila sa trabaho nila. They will follow the chain of command and they're free to express yung kanilang opinion. Pero kailangan may linya yan. If they start to express political views, ano yan, bawal yon, di ba? Bawal yon. But by and large, ano siya, stable ang sa AFP. Walang recruitment na nangyayari sa mid-ranking and the junior officers. Kasi nung panahon namin, that's what we did. Ano? Doon kami nag-recruit. When you have the time to plan, yun ang ginagawa. Yung mga panahon nung mga coups nung panahon ni the first Aquino administration, ganun din.
Yeah.
Pero ngayon, ang model nila is the EDSA 2. So kaya Naghanap lang ng
Yung withdrawal of
political,
support, yeah.
yes, political crisis, then they will pressure the AFP leadership to withdraw their support. So,
Right.
yun yung yun yung template. And ano,
Right.
yeah.
No, sorry, I want to ask you on that because we just have some colleagues here in Oxford who were talking about Nepal, yung case ng Nepal. Apparently, pati yung mga ordinaryong opisina tinatarget ng mga supposedly revolutionaries, yung pala, ito yung mga kurakot na politician na pinapasunog lahat ng dokumento para hindi sila mahuli. In short, sinakyan nila yung legitimate na revolution. Although, of course, we don't approve of them also targeting yung parliament, ganito, ganyan. Which makes you wonder, yung sa Menjola, was that a kind of an experiment by some groups, hindi lahat, no? To see whether they could weaponize this to create chaos, to distract from them. I'm not saying mga contractors, I'm not saying mga corrupt ng politicians, but that is a scenario we cannot discount, di ba?
Yes, that's precisely what happened. No, maraming nung pinaplano yung Luneta rally, maraming may gusto na sumakay doon at i-hijack yung yung rally para maging ouster call. Kaso the organizers were able to preempt that. Eventually, may humiwalay no doon sa People Power Monument. Tapos nagkaroon ng message discipline na ito, this is an expression of grievances of the people at hindi ouster call. So yung sa Luneta, naka-ano na no? Operation yon. You don't just do that na yung meme naka-ano kayo, prepared sila eh. They were agitating the law enforcers kasi kung may magkamali at maging trigger happy parang that's the next call, parang alam mo yon, bad optics yon sa international community. They will project na oy gulo-gulo na, so the international community will apply pressure, suddenly the investments will stop coming. Parang yun yung pinakang sabotage nun. And exactly, that's ano, kung ano yung basa mo, ganun nga yung nangyari.
We're going to the last part, but I just want to mention, I just wonder, is Remulla as the ombudsman potentially the game changer to kind of de-escalate the situation? Kasi ano na, nagiging sarsuela na. She's attacking Romualdez, pinapasapi na yung Congress, next thing you know. Like that was getting out of control. Pero ngayon parang nagda-die down yung tension potentially and baka Deus Ex Machina yung ombudsman. I mean, do you see that as a potential way to bring down tensions? Before we talk about ano naman ang gagawin sana ng mga kasama natin ng mga progressives na neither team kadiliman nor kasamaan?
Well, ordinarily, kung under normal conditions, kumbaga kung ano lang ito, spontaneous lang ito, magde-de-escalate. Pero kasi, as I mentioned, merong interested parties dito to want to sow chaos, ano? Kaya hindi to magde-de-escalate just because we have a new ombudsman. And in fact, yan na ngayon yung next ano nila, um, battleground nila kasi ito pagka wala na silang protection wala na yung ano nila, appointed nila na ombudsman. So ito na ngayon, that's now an area of concern. So baka mas meron silang motivation to sow chaos kasi yan na iba yon. But sabi ko nga, as regards si the new ombudsman na Boying Rimulya, nakita naman natin na he demonstrated some talagang guts to pursue yung mga cases na kung walang gravitas yung Secretary of Justice hindi ipo-pursue yun. So I'm sure he's not perfect. Nobody is. But based dito sa mga current ano natin, political environment, I think he would be the ideal ombudsman at this time. Yung may gravitas, he's no pushover. So, he will pursue ano, kung anong nararapat. Yun.
And last part, Senator, what should the I mean, basically third force na ba ang Pink Progressive Movement? Kasi grabing show of force, di ba? During September 21, yun ang pinakamalaki, very well organized, very peaceful. Talagang show of force yun eh. what should happen moving forward? Both in terms of Project 2028, meaning making sure we get the next good president. You believe someone like Rizal Ontiveros should be there. And at the same time, also in the meantime, siguraduhin natin maayos yung anti-corruption investigations at hindi ito ma-hijack ng mga Team Kadliman.
Let's just say na mayroong opportunity. At nakikita natin apat yung factions, no? Apat. So, yung Pinks, yung Dutertes, yung Marcos base, and yung mga non-aligned, di ba? Yung mga non-aligned, sila yon. Ngayon, lahat yon pag-aagawan. But we should not rule out any scenario that it will be a Duterte and anti-Duterte battle in 2028. Kaya I think mas maganda na gano'n eh ang maging linya para mas formidable. Now, ako as I mentioned in so many vlogs na si Senator Risa would be the ideal champion for that and to represent especially itong mga ganitong mga pangyayari at she has demonstrated, nakita mo na titindig siya sa harap, sa battlefield, ando doon siya sa front lines, talagang sinusuwag niya yung mga ano. And yun yung mga kailangan na leader natin, yung advocate and yung may reformist agenda. So yun ang hope natin. At since may vacuum din sa Marcos administration, malay mo magkaroon ng Team Unity 2.0 pero between the Pinks
Para
and the
anti-Duterte.
anti-Duterte, di ba? So I think it would be in the interest of everyone yung mga mulat ang mata sa mga pangyayari sa mga kasamaan ng Dutertes. I think it would be an opportune time na magkaisa in that regard.
And Senator, ano yung mga mahalaga if ever mangyari ng grand coalition na ito? Because clearly there will be momentum on the side of the Pinks, but obviously the loyalist side will have the resources and machinery, right, going into 2020.
Yeah.
What are the
Yeah.
terms of engagement para principled ito? Kasi yung unit team napaka-opportunistic, napaka-transactional, kaya sumabog ito di ba? It's like a zoo without a fence, di ba? Para nilagay mo ng isang crocodile, alligator nung wala na yung fence, na gano'n na. But the grand coalition you have in mind is principled, right? It's eyes wide open,
Yes.
non-transactional. So what do you think is the ideal
It should
terms
be.
of engagement? Yeah.
Ang pinaka ano rito is para din hindi hindi magiging chaotic yung magiging post 2028. Basta forward looking na from here on itong gagawin na natin. Ito yung sistema. Kumaga yung singilan, mga past, mga ano man historical. Importante yun for some, but in the interest ng survival ng ating demokrasya, ang prioritize natin yung moving forward, how we strengthen the institutions, how we make sure na hindi na mangyari itong mga nakawan na to, at yung mga maayos na public servants ang mahalal. So yun yung importante. I think may mga templates na dyan eh. Di ba? For example, yung peace talks with let's say the MILF. Parang
Interesting.
forgive and forget yun eh. Kahit sabihin, oh, ang daming namatay na sundalo nung panahon yun, oh, ang daming wala nang singilan. Kasi kung magsingilan tayo doon, we cannot move forward. So, i-ano natin yon, importante yon. Let's just find ways kung paano yung reparations for both sides. Then, we move forward. Ganon din dito. Kailangan ganon yung mindset na forward-looking tayo, aayusin natin institutions together. So even the Dutertes, hindi sila mananabutahe from the get-go knowing na ano sila. Siyempre, meron yung mga nakabinbin na, hindi naman pwede arborin yun. Di ba? Yung mga gumugulong na yung hustisya, yun na yun. Pero yung magfo-fault find tayo from the start, mahirap yun. Hihilain tayo ng pababa kasi talagang sadly, ano na medyo ano na, kumbaga talagang
Eh,
predominant or prevalent,
Hey,
endemic ang corruption.
Yes, Senator. Thank you so much, Senator. On that very constructive note, I always love it when we are in our constructive note. Thank you so much, Senator. So many people have missed you. We're so glad to see you back. I mean, you were always in action, but back in action in the public, back in the country. So kami ni Ronald, nami-miss ka namin eh. So happy to have you back, Senator Trillanes, and looking forward to more of this discussion and to continue this constructive mode of discussion over very contentious issue.
Yes,
Maraming
yes.
salamat, Senator. God bless. Mabuhay ka. Ingat ka.
Salamat.
And talk to you soon. God bless.
Gangster, you know, we do that better than anybody.
I bet you got it twisted, you don't know who to trust. So many player hating niggas trying to sound like us. Say they ready for the front, but I don't think they know it. Straight to the depths of hell is where them cowards going. Well, all you still down, nigga, holler when you see me. And let these devils dissolve for the day they finally free me. I got a caravan of niggas every time we ride. Hitting motherfuckers up when we pass by. Until I die, live the life of